Hi everyone, welcome to the Oracle Show. Today we're going to be looking into the captaincy issue from Pakistan. As we know, Babar Azam has stepped down. So now the question comes, who is it going to be that's going to take over the mantle as Pakistan captain? There are a couple of people that can be a contender to be the new captain of Pakistan, especially in the white ball format. But I don't know if it's going to be people or players that the public may want. However, I think these are the possible candidates that could be the next Pakistan captain for a various amount of reasons, and I'm just going to talk to you about them today. So the first candidate is obviously Shan Masood. Now a little bit about him: he's current Red Bull captain. He is going to be the test captain for the next series against England. A couple of good things about him: he did some good captaincy in Australia. There were a couple of times where he could have managed to make a win over in Aussie conditions. However, he was just a bit unlucky over there. He's from the UK and he was born and brought up here, and then he went back to Pakistan to play cricket over there, and then eventually he got into the international team. However, there are a lot of things lacking from Shan Masood, especially as a player. He just hasn't been able to make as much runs over the last couple of years, and he's only been able to do 2 to 3 50s, especially in the last 2 years in Test cricket. So it's not looking very good for him as a player. And we also have to look into who his family ties are and how they also sponsor the PCB. So there's also a bit of, how can I say this, a little bit of shadiness going on in the background. Another thing is that he's 34 years old, so if he does become captain of the white ball format, and you can also apply it to the red ball format, how long is he going to last? Is he going to be there 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, especially taking into consideration his current form? How long is he going to be the captain for Pakistan? And not just captain, how long is he even going to be a player? Because I'm sure there will be other players out there that will perform better than him, that will deserve a chance to play for the national team, and I just don't think that based on his current form that he will be able to do that. But based on what I think the PCB will do, he may be the best choice as of now, just because of the previous captaincy. It's not my decision, but it's just what I think the PCB will do. Now, with this other candidate, many years ago, there was a coach that we had called Mickey Arthur, and he came out and he said that this young player would possibly be Pakistan captain in the future. Now, if you don't know who this guy is, he's played for Pakistan for a lot of years, since the Champions Trophy, and his name is Shadab. Now, I will give him credit. He has been Pakistan's best fielder of the last couple of years. He's played for Pakistan for a long period of time. He's won the Champions Trophy. However, his leg spin has gone completely down the drain. He just isn't able to spin the ball as well as he used to, especially when he first came into the team. Another couple things that I'm not really too much of a fan on is the fact that he follows this Qudrat ki Nizam way, which basically means that they just hope that they'll win. And as good as it is to hope, you need to put in the work to be able to win. You can't just rely on hope on winning games and winning tournaments. So that's one thing that I'm not too much of a fan of, because you need to be real and you need to be honest when you're in this position, and I'm not sure if Shadab could possibly do that. I will give him credit on these other things. He has won the recent Champions Cup, even though I do not respect that cup at all, and he has won the last PSL. But another thing that has really been alarming from Shadab, especially in the last couple of tournaments, is the fact that he's trying to be an all-rounder. He's coming as a batsman. He has put in some okay batting performances, but he hasn't been introduced, or he hasn't been brought into the team as a batsman. He's there as a spinner, especially as our primary spinner. And if we look at how he has bowled for Pakistan, especially in ODI tournaments, T20 tournaments, he just hasn't been doing a good enough job. His economy rate far too high. We've taken way too many runs in the overs that he bowls, and it caused us a lot of problems in tournament. And as a result of that, he's been criticized heavily, especially after the tournament when he goes into domestic leagues, especially in the Champions Cup. He shows a lot more passion and aggression, and he's trying to stare players down, especially youngsters, which is quite odd, especially in the Sri Lankan league where he's getting wickets and he's making it out to be a very big thing. But look, at the end of the day, if you're talking about international cricket, no one is going to care about what you have done domestic. Everyone will care about what you do on an international level, especially in tournaments, but no one will care what you've done in the Caribbean League, Sri Lankan League, PSL, any domestic tournament. No one is going to care. And there's also some things that I can nitpick, especially when he drank coke while he was training. I don't know who allowed that. I mean, for God's sake, use your brains. But Pakistan, what can I say? And also, I think a big problem that will come about if he does become captain is that because there is a lot of selfishness that goes around with a lot of these players, will there be an opportunity for other people to come about, like Abrar, Zahid Mahmood, Mehran Mumtaz, Usama Mir? Will these guys be able to even compete? Because even now, when Babar Azam was captain, there were a lot of players that weren't able to get through due to the friendship that was going around in the squad. And with Shadab, because he's also part of that friendship group, it just doesn't look good for the other potential leg spinners that are there. Another possible choice is Mohammad Rizwan. Look, I gotta give him credit for it. He has been Pakistan's best batsman by far over the last couple of years, especially when it comes to tournaments. He is extremely reliable, he's solid, he's probably the best wicketkeeper batsman we've had in a very, very long time. However, on the field he can play, we know that, but when it comes to off the field, when it comes to asking him cricketing questions and in the press conference, he just doesn't give a lot of cricketing answers, especially on the field when it comes to reviews. He just doesn't look like the type of guy that will think calmly and just make the right choice. He comes across a bit as a politician to me, and from my personal view, I believe the captain needs to be someone who is honest with everyone, and especially with the players, and it just seems a little bit off from me, especially when he came back after the 2024 T20 World Cup, and when there was a press conference and when we thought that he was going to start talking about cricket, he started talking about Islam, which is a bit weird. I mean, okay, you can talk about the religion of Islam, but you're a cricketer, and we thought that you would be talking about how abysmal the performance was, especially in the World Cup. And I think another thing that's also very, very clear with Rizwan is that he seems to be a sort of guy that's very selfish, especially when it comes to where he bats and where he wants to be in the order. And that's one thing that I'll give credit to Babar Azam, where especially in the 2024 T20 World Cup, he went one down just so he can get Saeem Ayub up the order for him to get a bit more experience and for him to feel more comfortable. So I will give Babar Azam that point. I'll give him that good respect in that way. However, for Rizwan, he just doesn't seem like the guy that wants to change his batting position, albeit yes, he's been very good as an opener, but if there's been a problem in the middle order, then why doesn't he just go in and help the team for that period of time? If other players could do it, like Yunus Khan and Hafiz and Shoaib Malik and Afridi and all these other guys who have played for Pakistan for a much longer time, that have won more than a lot of what these players have done, then I don't see why Mohammad Rizwan can't do that. And that's just been a big problem, especially with selfishness in this team. And I'm not going to give him credit from removing himself from the wicket-keeping position and putting Azam Khan there. I'm sorry, everyone knew that, even he probably knew that everyone would be begging for him to go back to being a wicket-keeper, taking back his wicket-keeping position. So yeah, you're not getting any brownie points over here. Another option that these guys probably could go for is Shaheen, which will probably be, from what I think, the PC may go for, just because he was the main bowler for Pakistan for many years, despite what people may say. He's won the PSL back-to-back, and he hasn't been given a proper chance to be captain. I mean, he got the position for about one series and then it was taken away from him, and he wasn't given a proper chance. So maybe this might be the time to give him a proper opportunity to see how he does, especially going up to the Champions Trophy next year. However, what I can see is that Shaheen lacked the sensibility and arguably the maturity to be the captain of Pakistan internationally, and you can see this through his bowling. His bowling has gone down the drain, and he also isn't able to take care of himself the way that he needs to and gives himself rest, because he just keeps playing game after game after game, and he just isn't able to manage himself, and we can see that with his speed dropping tremendously. So if he isn't able to take care of himself from a physical standpoint, I'm not sure how he's going to be able to take care of the team and deal with these sort of issues, and especially with the groupings that has occurred between his side and Babar. There's no need for this in the Pakistan national team, and you could argue that this is a possible lack of professionalism from his part. So in my opinion, I think the PCB will go for one of these four members. I do have 2 or 3 other people that the PCB probably should go for in their decision to pick who will be the next Pakistan captain, but I'm not sure they're even going to go for these sort of choices, just because these are the guys that are just looking for shortcuts all the time. You can never rely on the PCB to make good proper decisions. So yeah, we're just going to have to see what happens. I'm not sure who they're going to pick out of these 4. If I had to make a guess, I think it will probably be Rizwan, because he does have that sort of politician mindset, how to get along with everyone sort of thing. So we're just going to have to wait and see. This isn't my decision. I wouldn't pick any of these guys, but it is what it is. Anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you're able to, I don't know, digest what's going on. And I hope to see you in the next vid. Bye bye.